Today we're going to be talking about the Mesozoic Era. Okay, now, in case you're wondering, this is the era after the Paleozoic. So you had the Phanerozoic Eon. We start off with the Paleozoic, and then we've got the Mesozoic. And this is divided up into three periods: the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. Okay, so let's have a look at this in a little bit more detail. As you can see, it's lasted 185.5 million years. So lots and lots of things happened. Namely, Pangaea broke up and it split up into Laurasia and Gondwana. So Gondwana land was the southern continent and contained Africa, Antarctica, Australia, and South America. And Laurasia was the northern continent, which contained North America, Europe, and Asia. So before you had Pangaea, now it's starting to break up, and you've got these like little channels of water forming as well. Okay, so that's what was happening in the Mesozoic era. Okay, you also had the Rocky Mountains forming, and several land masses collided. So basically, the land masses smash into each other, causing the crust to buckle and form this mountain range. Okay. You also had, let me just show this one first, salt deposits occurring. So as shallow inland seas dried out because it's salt water and the water evaporates, what's left behind are these huge giant salt deposits. So you get these salt lakes in places like, so this is Bonneville, but there's other places where you get salt lakes as well. And these started off in the Mesozoic era. You also had rising sea levels, so from the Triassic to the Jurassic to the Cretaceous, you had like this warming of the earth, and as a result, the sea levels rose as well. The oceans had, there's no ice caps, this is because, it was warm, and the oceans had more water, and the water flowed into Pangaea, splitting it apart, and this created narrow channels of water that grew larger. Eventually, the channels became oceans, and the Atlantic Ocean formed during this time. Okay, so here you got a nice little picture of the Triassic period. You got some dinosaurs. The dinosaurs mainly actually came in the Cretaceous period. They were sort of evolving here, and then they came about up here in the Cretaceous. Okay, so here it says, after the Permian mass extinction, there were vast amounts of unoccupied space for organisms to inhabit. This basically accounts for the rise of the dinosaurs, because each organism had huge amounts of food. Basically, there's a huge abundance, and as a result, if you eat lots and lots of food, you get big. And this is what happened to lizards, and they basically just turned into dinosaurs. You had also cone-bearing trees as well, and flowering plants evolving. The dinosaurs came to be. Now we think that the dinosaurs are more closely related to birds than they are crocodiles, and this is all to do with their hip structure. If you want to have a read of this, pause the video, have a read. I'm just going to barrel on ahead. Okay, here's a nice example of a dinosaur that's kind of half bird and half dinosaur, adding to this theory that we think birds evolved from dinosaurs. Here's the little fossil that we found of it, and it's called Archaeopteryx. It's the ancestor of birds. Okay. Other creatures we had these flying things called pterosaurs, and this marine dinosaur called a plesiosaur. And it shows you here how big they are: 14 meters for the plesiosaur, and a wingspan of 12 meters for the Quetzalcoatlus, which was an example of a pterosaur. Now, 12 meters doesn't sound all that big until you see how big it is in comparison to a human being. Gigantic. In the Mesozoic era, we started to have mammals, which were starting to evolve. They were pretty small though. There were very few that were larger than cats, and there are these like rat-looking squirrel-type things. Okay, so mammals came about in the Mesozoic era, and then right at the very end of the Mesozoic era, we had the Cretaceous extinction event. This happened 65.5 million years ago, and we reckon that there were volcanic eruptions and a gigantic meteorite which blocked out the light, okay, from the sun, and as a result, plants died, and without plants, animals died, and then the big dinosaurs and the large vertebrates, they basically just ran out of food, and they died out. The smaller ones, they kind of survived because obviously they didn't need so much food. And that's the end of the Mesozoic era.